people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand. It's time to...
Hello, everyone, and welcome to On Tour as we look back at the CJ Insurance West Indies versus Australia series. I'm Barry Wilkinson. In the end, it was not a very eventful game. The Australians won, and they won the series as well, 2-1. This match they took away by some 6 wickets. It was not the most, perhaps the prettiest game to watch, but it was a very effective one by them, and you would have to give them credit. The West Indies, they won the T20 series, and the Australians win the 50-over series. So you can say that after a couple of weeks of cricket, Australia won, West Indies won. Let's have a look at the scorecard and see how things finished up. So it was the West Indies batting first on this occasion. They made a pretty paltry 152. Thanks to Evan Lewis, who retired hurt, getting hit on his helmet. There were some thoughts at some stage that he might not come back and bat, might have had a concussion substitute, but he proved to be very brave and came back and made a very good 55 not out. That helped the West Indies get up to 152 because they were struggling. In fact, only Darren Bravo with 18 and 14 from Shea Hope and 15 from Azari Joseph got anyone there in double figures. The batting again letting the West Indies down. Mitchell Starc has bowled well all series, and he finished with 3 for 43, 2 apiece to Josh Hazelwood and Ashton Agar, and as well as Adam Zampa, and that 1 wicket there to Ashton Turner. When the West Indies bowled, we saw some good bowling initially from Akeal Hussain, yet again getting an early wicket, but a fantastic innings of 51 not out, very responsible from Matthew Wade. And we also saw Alex Carey, the captain, very responsible again, getting 35. Seeing the Australians home, 1 apiece to Cottrell, Hussain, Joseph, and Hayden Walsh, who was very expensive, bowling the ball way too short. So victory then for the Australians by 6 wickets. Was not, like I said, a very eventful game. It was actually a very slow pitch, a pitch that many people have been calling for to be improved. And we spoke about that a couple of nights ago, and certainly when you look at the final analysis, you would have to say that the Kensington Oval pitch is not what we have been accustomed to all of these years. We've only got a 2-man panel for you tonight, the 2 Ts, TB and TG, Tino Best and Tony Gray. Vinod Mamchan, he is absent tonight. He's not feeling well. He's under the weather. We hope that he is going to be much better pretty soon. Let me start first of all with you, Tino. And, we said that the Australians were going to come firing back. That they did. But it was a close game in the terms of how the batting was. It was not the prettiest of batting performances from both teams.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the series, the pitch has been the vocal point of predominantly the West Indies captain, because when you're coming out of St. Lucia, and to be honest, the pitches in St. Lucia was real good, Barry. That's the honest truth. You could have played your shots, hit through the line, you got good pace for the bowlers as well, and the ball was turning as well. So to come to Barbados on that surface, I think it was tough on both teams. Even when Australia batted, they didn't get 300. Something that you will honestly like to see in a one-day game. So really and truly, West Indies didn't bat well, Barry. But at the end of the day, you don't want to see West Indies and Australia playing on surfaces like that. But you got to make ugly runs. That is how international cricket plays. You got to find a way. And I thought that West Indies didn't turn up today. It was crunch time. And, I feel for the boys. I know the boys really wanted to do well and win the series for the first time since 1995. That's a long time, Barry. Last time we won a one-day series against Australia. And they'd be disappointed, but look, it's the game, and they've got to look to rebound. I'm convinced that cricket is here in Barbados again.
Tony Gray, how do you see it?
Yeah, I was very disappointed in the pitch. I said that in the first one-day international game. The pitches at Kensington Oval, you expect it to be very true and good bounce for fast bowlers, good surface for the batsmen to play their shots on, because primarily the goals of the one-day game is for shot making and exciting stroke play. So I was very disappointed with that, and I think that Captain Pollard said it at the post-match interview that we need better surfaces when we play in international one-day games, especially against the top teams. But nevertheless, 2 teams batted in it. And we played an extra batsman in Evan Lewis. We didn't play the all-rounder in Jason Mohammed. So you expected the team to show up well. On that sort of surface, Barry, what you need is astute an intelligent stroke play. You know, certain shots must be carefully looked at and perhaps curtailed. And you know that you have to get to the pitch of the ball, that sort of thing. So I was very disappointed in the West Indies performance, just getting 152 after selecting an additional batsman.
Now, Tino, we look at how things went for the West Indies when they batted. And Evan Lewis, the opening batsman, we've seen him there getting hit quite hard. And he actually braved to come back out. And I thought he batted extremely well, 55 from 66, 3 sixes and 5 fours. In the T20s, and then now I would say in the, this 50 over, although he failed in the first 2 matches, he has been by far to me the most consistent batsman over the period of the last 3 weeks. How did he bat to you coming back out after being struck?
Yeah, I mean, it was a top edge, Barry. If you saw the replay, it was a top edge from the back straight into the helmet. I mean, look, we needed him. West Indies needed him to bat. He batted well. But look, I can allude to something that Tony Gray said. I think it was two programs ago, about Lyndall Simmons and with these whole COVID things and playing against a team, someone who was doing well. I honestly believe that himself and Lyndall Simmons should have opened the batting. I know that Shea is our number 1 batsman in one-day cricket, but in this circumstance, I honestly believe that we missed a batsman who had made runs against Australia in Lyndall Simmons. He might not have opened the batting, but he was somebody that needed to be in that 11 to help make that batting line up a lot more solid against the Australians. And the Australians are very wary of Lyndall and how he can be bombastic against them as well. So I think West Indies selectors dropped the ball on that one. But really and truly, Evan batted well today, and that is what was required on that pitch. Ugly runs.
Look, Tony, you look at the batting. They dropped Jason Mohammed, which many people have been asking for. Hetmyer came back, didn't have an impact. But you look at the fact that Darren Bravo got 100 against Sri Lanka, I think about a couple of months ago, 3 or so months ago. But I mean, are we being too critical of Darren Bravo in terms of how he's batting? He's supposed to be one of the big names in the team, but it is generally felt that he's not batting well. Are we being too critical? Are we being too harsh? And, is he deserving of that play in this team?
Well, you expect the fans to be critical because they're emotional about West Indies cricket, but the people who are involved and are supposed to be in the know about how to develop players and how to recuperate players from not performing that well, not supposed to be too critical, because obviously you mentioned that he scored a brilliant century against Sri Lanka not too long ago. But my thing is playing time. He has not gotten playing time. He didn't play against Sri Lanka in the test matches. I thought he should have played the last one. He didn't play against South Africa in the test matches or in the T20 game. And, he has just played one T20 game against Australia. And they put him to bat at number 8. So here's somebody that is not in form, and psychologically he has been drained because, of the way he has not been selected. So as Tino rightly said, I think that we have to look at plain batsmen who played against, for example, Australia in the T20 in the one-days because they're in form and because they have played against Australia. So there's a learning curve for everybody. But I think that Bravo is one of the worst managed players in the history of West Indies cricket.
Why do you say that, Tony?
Yeah, I mean, listen, he has not managed himself properly. He should have gone to Bangladesh, right? Because he was in a role, he was getting back into form. His advisors, whoever they may be, in the past have not advised him properly. He's a cricketer, not a politician. So I thought he should have stayed away from the politics. The selectors, the former selectors brought him back with just playing one regional game after a long time out of the game. So that is not the way you astutely bring back a player into prominence after he's been away from the game for a long time. And collectively, he has been away from the game for 3 years, still at the developmental stages. So we have seen the ramifications of that now, and we need to give him confidence.
Wow. Very well said, Tony Gray. Tino, You're a former fast bowler. What is so special of Mitchell Starc? 3 for 43. He just manages to get underneath the skin of the West Indies batsman. Tell me why he's so good.
You just watch it for the last 7 games, five T20s, 3 ODIs, 8 games, Barry. That's why he's special. Listen, what I love about Mitchell Starc is that even though he went for runs in the first 2 T20s, he had, I think it was 7 overs for about 80 or 90 runs. That man was still running in, still coming, because he knows once he gets his rhythm going, he's going to be dominant. And he was dominant. He is one of the best fast bowlers in the world. He is, to me, the #1 fast bowler in the world, give and take. Rabada, but the deliveries that Mitchell Starc produces, given the fact that he is a left-hander, and the world cricket is dominated by a lot of right-handers as well, he absolutely eats them. And he is being one of the best fast bowlers that have come out to Australia. And I love to see him. I like pace, Barry. And to bowl 150 clicks and get the ball to swing, like how he get it done, is wonderful to watch. He's a good example for young fast bowlers. I get excited when he's my spirit animal. So at the end of the day, Mitchell Starc is absolute class, and to be able to combat someone of his caliber, you have to be patient. You have to understand to play the ball really late, because he gets the ball to swing late. You can't be bombastic against him. You can do that in one-day cricket, but when it comes to the 50-over game, when you have to bring your technique into play, he shows you up, Barry. And if he's gonna bowl at anyone that's out of form, he's gonna absolutely manhandle them, and that's what he did to the West Indies batsmen, and that's why he got man of the series. Brilliant, well done, Mitchell Starc.
All right, no need to add to that. You're watching On Tour. When we come back, we'll have a look a bit at how the West Indies bowled, as well as Matthew Wade. And the captain bowled some spin. Polly, you surprised me with the off spin. When we come back, On Tour, stay with us.
Time to jump up, people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hands. It's time to jump up, people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up.
So welcome back to On Tour again. The Australians winning by 6 wickets and winning the series 2 games-1 a very short 50-over series. Now, Matthew Wade, we saw how he tried to get things going in the T20s. That didn't happen a lot, but I must say that he's been a pretty consistent guy for the Australians in the 50-over format. Tony Gray, why do you like Matthew Wade as a batsman? I know he's one of your favourites.
Well, I think that first of all, he's pugnacious. I always like batsmen who are not going to allow bowlers to settle on, whether they're fast bowlers or spin bowlers. And he's going out there consistently with a mindset to take on bowlers and not allow them to settle on. I think that he is skilled in so many different ways, because he's primarily a wicketkeeper batsman. He picks up the line very quickly. He can leave the ball alone. He chooses the right ball to hit. He's got all types of shots all around the wicket. And I think that he's just has that Australian type mindset of never say die. And we want to see our players having that type of mindset, that unremitting mindset of being really, really fighters out there. And he epitomizes what the Australians are about.
Their captain, Alex Carey, he epitomizes that very well. I remember in 2019, he got hit by Jofra Archer in the World Cup. And he received stitches on the field, and he continued to bat. He's a hard kind of cricketer. And Australia have a lot of great left-handed wicketkeepers. The Adam Gilchrist, Wade is trying to emerge as that. So too Alex Carey. So look, they're not short on keeper batsmen in Australia. And it brings me to the point about Alex Carey. First time for him, captain of the team. Were you impressed by how he skippered the troops?
Yeah, for sure. His bowling plans were brilliant, starting with a left-arm spinner and bringing the off spinner in early and understanding the pitch. I think that the toss is always very critical when you're playing on pitches that aren't as good as Kensington Oval. Well, they were disappointing surfaces. And I thought that he maneuvers bowlers brilliantly, and he got a good head on his shoulders as well. And I know a good shoulder on his head, Barry.
Yeah. You're not going to live down that one.
No, man, I'm never ever going to live down that one. But look, at the end of the day, he's a fighter, Barry, and you want someone that is leading your team, someone that's going to die with their books lacing up. And he has that attitude, and it filters down through that team. and the way that Australia came, not having their regular players, they fought against the West Indies. And look how excited they were to win this one-day series because they didn't want to go back down under, losing for the first time to the West Indies since 1995, and they fought. They don't mind losing T20s. They said they're playing against an amazing T20 side. I think it was Ashton Agar that alluded to that. But at the end of the day, they like to play cricket, and 50 over and Test cricket is complements and shows you the good players. It separates the cream from the crop, Barry. And Australia did that, and they have a good leader. They found a good little leader in Kiri.
I want to ask you, Tony Gray, just a quick question on Jason Holder. I'm a little worried about Jason Holder. I'm not seeing that consistency from him. And it is worrying because he had the billing as the leading all-rounder in world cricket for quite some time. And that billing is slowly just beginning to elude his grasp. And I'm a little worried about him. How do you feel about it, Tony Gray?
Well, I think that obviously a very intelligent young man. We've seen him with that intelligence in the last game where he and Puran formed a match-winning partnership. So he's intelligent in every facet of the game, and he's a former captain in every format of the game, which makes it even better for him going forward. My thing with Jason Holder, and the coaches and the selectors must analyze the strengths and weaknesses of players. Obviously, he's playing on 3 formats of the game, and it's not easy, especially in this COVID time where you don't have enough time in between games and formats to recuperate physically and mentally, because these guys are on a bubble still. We have to remember that. But to me, Jason Holder is a rhythm-type player. And if he's out too long without, what you call active recuperation, his rhythm dwindles, especially in the bowling department. And quite evidently, that is what has happened. And I think that going forward, the selectors must be mindful that perhaps he does not need too many time or away from the game to rest. But what he needs is consistent playing for him to keep his rhythm going, and subsequently he will get wickets. And in the one-day scenario, he will bowl tightly too.
I love that analysis. Okay, look, let's take a look at what some of our fans are saying. You're a very important part of this program. This one says, good day. How come Darren Bravo makes the team today in front of Jason Mohammed? Somebody is not thinking straight. Come on, fans. Fans, come on. You were complaining that Jason Mohammed should not be playing. Now he's dropped. You're saying that he should not be playing. He should be playing and Bravo should not be playing. The fans tend to be very inconsistent sometimes. All right, let's move on to the other one. Defending a small total like today, we have a 30-yard circle. Notice that we have fielding players having to run down the ball after misfielding, trying to save 1 run, resulting in giving away possibly 1 to 2 runs. How come the coaches plus the captains are not seeing this mistake? That's 50-50. I guess that is something that could be debated when it happens, and it's something that they can look at depending on who's bowling and the fielding restrictions at the time that they're bowling. Don't forget, the power play comes into effect, so you want to look at that as well. All right, let's take in another question. Good afternoon to the panel. I don't understand what is the thinking behind the ground staff of the West Indies after we are playing at home. Therefore, the West Indies must have a say in the wickets to prepare. There is the same Australian team with a few changes, and it should be noted that this is the same Australian team that lost 4-1 in the T20s. With anyone with home advantage, we must indeed take up that. Glenn Narine there from Trinidad and Tobago. We did speak about the pitch earlier, Glenn Narine, so I think that answers itself. This one, I'm going to leave this one. I'm going to put Tony Gray on this one. I think I might get a better response from Tony on this one. In my opinion, the umpiring has been atrocious. Tony, what is your opinion on the umpiring in this entire series, the T20s and the ODIs?
Well, I think that obviously, first of all, we have to understand that umpires are human beings, and the improvement in technology in this era has really and truly shown up on their weaknesses. I don't think that Joel Wilson has had a very good outing out there in this series, and obviously has made some mistakes. But again, I am not critical of umpires because they are human beings and they will make mistakes. They're not infallible at all. So, but the umpiring could have been better, but I'm not going to be critical of any of the umpires.
All right. I absolutely love hearing from you. Continue to send your voice notes, your WhatsApps. I really do enjoy reading them. Okay, listen. When we come back, we're going to hear from the man of the series and the two captains on tour. Don't you move.
It's time to jump up, people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hands. The top, it's time to jump up, people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just...
All right, time now to hear from the two captains and, of course, the man of the series.
Tough loss today, Karen. Where did it go wrong?
I'm guessing you guys might have spoken about it. Obviously, we didn't bat well. We started winning the toss. I thought, yes, the wicket is a bit tacky. But having said that, I just thought that I think we did the hard work in the first couple overs, not losing, early wickets, in the first couple overs. That's what has been hampering us. But we weren't able to string partnerships, together. So 153 is never going to be enough. 200, 220 on that track, I think might have been a fight in total.
Was it a case today where Starc and Hazel were just too good for your batsmen at the top, and we've seen that throughout the series?
If you want to put it that way, you can put it however you want to put it. For us, it has been challenging, and what's the thing about it is that we accept that we haven't batted well throughout the series. Coming from the T20 series, where the difference in stroke play was evident, and coming here to Barbados, I think both teams sort of struggled on the pitch, and I think that's unacceptable for international cricket, which way or the other you look at it. We're not going to make excuses. We accept that we batted badly, but I don't think the scores that we have gotten in this 3-match series for two top international teams, I think that's very embarrassing for us as a people. Coming from St. Lucia, coming to this, I think is absolutely ridiculous.
This is the 7th win for Australia in a bilateral ODI series against the West Indies. How special is this for you?
I think personally and collectively it's really exciting. We know it's tough leaving home in a pandemic, and the commitment that this group's shown is fantastic to see a result go our way tonight. I think we mentioned before the T20s didn't go our way, but that's some great reward for a lot of commitment shown to the group.
You was named ODI captain before the start of this series. You only captained in one list day match prior to that. How was this experience different to that last experience in a list day game?
Colour of the clothes is pretty exciting to represent your country and captain it. But yeah, fantastic group effort. I thought the bowlers did a great job. I think there was some good innings throughout the series. A little bit ugly tonight, but you've got to get a total like that a little bit ugly when the wicket's doing a fair bit. And we bounced back from the other night. We went away, we spoke about it, we understood the conditions, and I think the batters to score 150, although we had wickets in the shed, it's a great target to get.
Congratulations to you, Mitchell Starc. Tell me, how do you continuously achieve that type of success with the ball?
Oh, there's plenty of ups and downs. I've seen it have a few go my way this series. So, no, look, I think it's probably part of our experience in the team is our bowling group. So, I think that showed today with the ball in the first innings, and I think our batting unit learnt from the other night, and it was fantastic to grit it out and get us home tonight.
Wonderful stuff. Congratulations to the Australians for coming here, dominating and winning that ODI series, and congratulations earlier to the West Indies for winning the T20s. I thought they were deserved winners. Quickly, gentlemen, as we go in now to the Pakistan series, it's 4 T20s. What are your expectations, Tino? And also I ask the same question to Tony Gray.
Well, I hope they got good surfaces, for the first one here in Barbados. But to be honest, I think West Indies got to take whatever momentum that they have. I think new guys are going to come back into the T20 setup. They can take that energy that they had beating Australia 4-1 into the Pakistan series and just continue to dominate. Look, at the end of the day, it's only 20 overs and West Indies can go helter-skelter. And as we all know, West Indies are unbeatable in this format, and they just got to continue to gel as a team leading into the World Cup. All this is a dressy rehearsal for the World Cup coming up.
Well said. Tony Gray, your turn.
Yeah, I think it's a very important stage of preparation for the World Cup. Obviously, Pakistan is rated as number 4 best team in T20 cricket. So we're going to get challenges. And that's exactly what we want, because we started off with Sri Lanka. And Sri Lanka is not really a good T20 team. We went up to play South Africa, and they showed that they were highly competitive. The Australians didn't come with the best team, but they are ranked, in T20 cricket too. And now we have the Pakistanis. I think that Pakistanis are going to be a huge challenge to the West Indies team in this format of the game. They just completed a very competitive series against the number 1 team in the world, England, in England. So exactly what we want. Now, the West Indies selectors and the head coach and the other coaches must structure this team as a prelude to the World Cup, because after the series finishes, the team is going to be disbanded. So the formulas must be structured properly, and there must be a certain degree of stability. Players have to know their role, and synergies must be formed, especially amongst the batsmen.
Very well said there, Tony Gray. I want to thank you and Tino Best. You've been watching On Tour. We've got 1 day's break. Then we're back for the T20s against the Pakistanis. So, of course, we're going to be rejoined by none other than Johnny Barron and the greatest himself, Sir Clive Lloyd. I'm Barry Wilkinson. Until then, bye-bye for now.